Hey, welcome to Green Voices. Today I'm chatting with Kim Speer, who, what do we call Kim? Kim is a master entrepreneur. Kim comes from a family that are born entrepreneurs. I think you live, eat, breathe to create amazing spaces. You sparkle with ideas. And I don't know just how you do half of the things that you do, but I've known you for a long time now. And every time you talk about what you do, you absolutely inspire me with just wanting to get out there and do things. So, Kim, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, great. So I remember back 10 years ago when I was doing Creative Mornings, you were one of the first speakers at Truth
Yes,
Coffee in
yes, I remember
town.
that. Yes.
And back then you were really doing amazing things with everything that's happening in Kalk Bay, and then markets and interiors and stores and shops, and oh my goodness, you've done everything. So
I have,
where do we
unfortunately.
start? Where do we start with you?
Oh gosh, I think I'm so overwhelmed by creative ideas all the time. If I drive past an empty space, like an empty shop, I want to create something in that space. I just have an overwhelming sense of creativity and ideas constantly flowing in me. So at the moment, with town being completely empty, every dream shop I've ever wanted is open and available. So I can't drive through town because I almost have mini panic attacks of everything I can do there. Every shop I've ever wanted is now available, which is really sad. But I have so many ideas. I think that's it's a problem, actually.
No, it's not. It's a
Some of
wonderful
them I've
problem.
done, some of them are on the back burner. So yeah.
It's a wonderful problem to have. So when you say you see these, is it the building? Is it something about the building that speaks to you, or the
It's the
space?
location, it's the shops that I've always admired, the locations, the beautiful space, the interiors of the shops. For example, in Close Street or in Bree Street, there's some beautiful shops that I've always thought, oh my gosh, I could do something amazing there. And they're never available. But now they all are, but sadly now no one has money to do anything. So,
Mm.
but I still dream about it. Come home and think, what could I do in that space? And even if I create a space for somebody else, that gives me the same level of
Satisfaction.
satisfaction. So
Yes.
spending somebody else's money, but having the same kind of instant gratification, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you get like that marshmallow feeling, like, oh, I did that, and lovely,
And I
lovely.
think exactly, and I think that's why I love doing interiors, because Mornay and I, my twin sister and I, do interiors together, and we get given a big budget, and then we go off and do all the shopping, so we have all the gratification and none of the guilt, and
And you
it's
don't,
absolutely wonderful.
and then you don't have to. Okay, because so give me one example. Okay, because I'd love to hear about Mojo Market in Sea
Yes,
Point.
yes.
That space is absolutely phenomenal. It is beautiful
Oh,
from
and there's I
everything.
tell you what, and the people that we worked with, the two owners of Mojo, were probably our favorite clients of all time. They were so easy and wonderful to work with. But we also worked alongside an architect called Megan, a woman called Megan who lives here in Lakeside, and a woman called Yvonne Kramer who was also doing the decor side. So Mornay and I did all the kind of the layout of the market and procurement of all the traders. We did some of the interior or the decor of the trader stands. It was just such an inspiration, and they wanted to create something that was very Miami-like and holiday-like. And they were very open to everybody's ideas and suggestions, and they were very good at following through on it. So it was an amazing project. It was a long project. It was a very long-term project. I mean, we were there from the initial building site. So we spent many days on the building site, lots of meetings. The Mojo Hotel is actually a backpackers, like an upmarket backpacker. So they've got a lot of young, funky holiday makers coming to stay there. And their ideas were at the time, were quite modern and out there. And the market was definitely an extension of what they already had. And it's been successful and wonderful. And I think they were just an amazing client to work with, and everybody who worked around us supported each other. It was a really good project to work on, and it's worked. It's been amazing.
So for you to get into that, do you think it was because I know Bluebird was a baby of yours. It was
Yes.
something that you
Oh,
owned, you started,
yes.
and you built
I love
to.
Bluebird.
Yes,
Yeah.
so and that was almost at the beginning of markets
Of
really coming
markets.
into fruition.
Exactly. And within 2010, and we were one of the first, again, it was space before the market. The space was available. I
And
walked into the
beautiful
space
space.
and I went, oh, it's like an old aeroplane hangar. What can we do? There's community here. What do they need? So it was space before market. I said to myself, we need a space. We need to do something here. And of course, markets were in the beginning stages. The biscuit mill was open. I think the one in Tokai, the earthware market, was open. So we decided to do a nighttime market, a Friday nighttime market, to bring families together at the end of the week where they can come and eat and meet and do their shopping
Listen to
and
music.
and listen to music. And it was it was such a wonderful market. And we ended up selling it after 5 years.
Oh,
I haven't been back, so not sure. You know, when I let go of something, I'm also a little bit territorial, and I feel like if I go back and it doesn't look the way it used to look, then I'm going to be a bit upset. So haven't
okay.
been back. Because I put all my energy into it. Every Friday I was there doing the flowers, putting flowers on traders' tables. You're selling Italian food, your table's flat. What's going on here? Run to the checkers, get tins of tomatoes, get a red and white tablecloth. Like I did everybody's tables for them. So I kept thinking, what are they doing now that I'm not decorating their tables for them? Like who's doing that? Hopefully they'd learned though.
And just want to get in there and like make it look like that.
Yeah, every Friday I was just there decorating and
It's just
yeah,
beautiful. It was
pouring beer, eating a lot.
everything.
Yeah,
And all the stalls as well. Getting everybody in and out and doing their thing.
exactly. Tasting everything, quality control.
Yeah, very good. Somebody needs to do that. And
Exactly.
and now, okay, so you also very involved in having your own store as well. That's something that you've grown up doing as your
Yeah,
family.
yeah,
So you've always been Cape to Cairo, and then was mythology, and now Saint Siena and Indiana Jane.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you've done everything.
We've done everything. And Kalk Bay in the 90s was quite a hippie village. And my parents started Cape to Cairo, which was a store. And I worked at Cape to Cairo on weekends. I was a stylist at the time. But I worked on weekends and I saw, wow, there's a lot of quite funky, trendy, media type, film type, model type people shopping in Kalk Bay. So to me, there was definitely something happening. And I opened India Jane at the time. And again, I sold it after 6 years. And that shop has come back to me now, that same space,
Oh,
exact same space, little baby space. And I've had Saint Siena there now for 3 years. In
okay.
between that, my sister and I had mythology, which we loved. But we dissolved our partnership because partnerships are difficult when you're family. And so now I've got Saint Siena on my own, and I absolutely love it. So it's a platform where I give designers and creatives and other entrepreneurs, so even women who don't locally design, and it's mostly women who don't locally design and manufacture locally, but they travel to go and buy stock. They travel to bring in decor or clothes or whatever, because and I've sometimes had local designers who've said to me they're not happy having other women in the store that aren't locally manufacturing and designing. But I believe that for women in general, we need to open the doors to all women entrepreneurs. Because if you're a single mom and you're traveling abroad to go and buy clothes to sell here, why should the door be closed to you? If you're
Exactly.
bringing beautiful things. So I encourage female entrepreneurs, designers, creatives, and it's a wonderful, positive space to be in.
Yes. And then you pick from it as well. So
I do.
somebody,
I do.
okay, so
Yeah.
you're almost
I
a
do
buyer as
curate
well.
the shop. I do. I definitely
Okay.
curate the shop. Don't tell anyone this, but if somebody brings in something dodgy, go straight into the storeroom. Because things are in the storeroom.
Okay, you can come collect.
Yeah, so I definitely curate quite severely to make sure it's a beautiful space. I don't just want to throw anything in there. I want
Yeah.
women to also feel when they walk in there that this is a space where they can find something really beautiful and, yeah.
Okay, so it's an experience as well, not just a shop destination.
Exactly. You walk in, there's a beautiful smell in the shop. It's been decorated beautifully. It's got beautiful things you can buy. The staff are well trained and lovely. So it is an experience. Yeah,
Okay, so Kalk Bay, normally in winter time, it does go through a bit of a dip and then it
it
picks up
does.
again in summer.
It does.
So with the COVID added to that, was that
Mm.
a
Oh,
Yes.
It has
Really
been,
mental.
I must say, even with the roadworks, like in 2008, where we all suffered severely. I mean, people were literally digging up the
Mm,
pavement in front of our stores. You couldn't get into the stores, and we were so affected then.
so hard
Um,
hitting.
Even that wasn't as bad as this. Our stores were closed for April and May. Then we were allowed to sell essentials from, I think it was May or June onwards. So we all had to put all our summer stuff away. Any things like stationery or interiors, you had to pack everything away. Some landlords have been superb. Some landlords have not. So some shops fell by the wayside.
Shame.
They have been rented out again. So there aren't any empty stores in Kalk Bay, which is quite phenomenal. My landlord is Praza, so difficult to get a hold of and deal with, but they definitely gave us a couple of months free rental, and then they
Okay.
went on to half, and now they're back onto full. We did have to pay back a little bit here and there, but they were kind enough to ensure that we stayed in our
In
shops,
business.
and it's been tough. I'll tell you that I think shops we're trading on about 30% capacity of their usual turnover.
Sure. So it
Mm.
was a stop and then a slow start.
Yeah,
And now you're starting to see it's picking up again. It's
definitely
especially,
starting to pick up. Now that we're in level one and they've mentioned the opening of borders, or the borders are opening on the 1st of October. We obviously
so,
don't know who's coming in yet, but all of a sudden everyone's out shopping. So it
yes.
is there.
I
Yeah.
know, yeah. Locals are like, hey, we've got something to do
Yeah.
now. Let's go
Yeah,
shopping.
exactly,
Let's
exactly.
go to
And
Kalk
look,
Bay.
people have financially struggled locally as well, obviously. And so even though in winter we'd usually have quite a good local trade, it was still less than half of what we'd usually do in winter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
it
the
has,
interesting thing, I went to Obs yesterday with my
mm,
daughter to go and do thrift shopping and
oh,
and
love it.
and vintage shopping. Loved
Ooh,
it.
I
It's a whole
love doing
street.
that.
Very clever. I love this idea. I'm just thinking where the hell I can do a vintage shop in Kalk Bay. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I need to
I
get on
think
this. I need to get on this. But a whole street of vintage and thrift shops, very well done, very beautiful. And they were all telling me that they have been doing phenomenally well from
oh,
May.
really?
Phenomenally. They have been cooking. And I think it's indicative of people's financial kind of position as well, because you're spending 50 Rand on a really cute top.
Yes.
So you can take your kids there and they can go and shop. You can give them 300 bucks and they come home with 6 items.
But it's also that the mentality now of let's reuse,
Exactly.
recycle, let's not go and buy cheap Chinese
And our kids are very
clothing.
much aware of that, aren't they?
And
Except,
I think more aware than probably we are when we
yeah,
grew up.
they definitely
So
are. And it's
yeah,
trendy. Thrifting is trendy. It's kind of
thrifting.
kind of like a cool thing to do now, you know?
So thrifting it was like almost a 90s, early 2000 thing to
Mm,
do in London. And
yes,
you used to go to every single shop there. And in here,
exactly.
it hasn't really, well, it's picking up now, but we used to have, remember that one shop in Long Street? I think there was
Yeah,
one
I think
shop
it's
in Long Street.
second time around or
Yes.
something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then Chick
But it
Thomas
was quite
came into it.
mothbally. It was quite mothbally.
Oh, yeah, the
This is
Hunt.
very funky and cool, and I actually befriended one of the owners. It's this really cool guy who actually grew up in Kalk Bay, and we've chatted about him maybe bringing his shop to Kalk Bay on a Sunday and coming
Oh,
to hook up with me and set up outside the shop and do a little thrifting vibe, and to kind of get people connected to his shop and to get more people to my shop. And so we'll kind of, you know,
a symbiotic
thrive off each other
relationship.
a little bit. Yeah, exactly. We'll collaborate a little bit because he's cool, and then Kalk
You're
Bay's
cool.
busy. So no, not really, but Kalk Bay's busy. So people can know where to find him. And yeah, he was amazing. His shop was unbelievable. Such style.
Okay.
Mm,
Oh, really? So
yeah.
in Lower Main Road
In
in
Lower
oh,
Main Road, all the way from
love that place.
where you turn into from Salt River into Lower Main Road. There are a couple of shops there.
Yes.
Then you go further down before the traffic light. There's a couple of shops there. Go over the traffic light, past Ob's Cafe, all the
Okay.
way to the Mowbray Main Road. There are lots of shops there.
Yes.
So
That's that. That
all the way.
yeah. Now that's been around like they come and they go almost
Yeah. It
those
seems
shops.
now that there's a bubble and a concentration of these shops. And I think it's very clever, because the one thing in business that I've learned, and my parents have taught me this, is that when you're a lonesome shop selling vintage clothing, you maybe think that you're going to have a massive turnover because everyone's coming to you. And maybe you're not that happy about a couple of other vintage shops opening around you. But what you'll soon realize is if there are 10 vintage shops around you, you're going to be doing way better because people know it's a destination.
Becomes bustling. People use it as a metropolis. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the thing with Kalk Bay. I was one little clothing shop, India Jane, in 2000, and I did well enough. But the moment other clothing shops opened, I flew. The shop did so much better because now it becomes a hub.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about the clothing and vintage. Do you also do homeware and
do homeware, jewellery. Yeah.
And that's also something that you do inside, you go into different interiors. So a full range of everything, like you, and all
range of everything. Full range of everything. Like I said, I love to give female entrepreneurs an opportunity. And I've got a girl who, for example, at the moment, she's printing, designing, making her own cushions, soaps, her own candles, and it's really beautiful. So much so that she's now going to start wholesaling it because she was only selling it at my shop. But it's become so sought after that she's now wholesaling to other shops, which is amazing.
Yeah. That is cool. That gives you like a little bit of a pat on the shoulder. And then do you see the foreseeable future? Are you happy? Are you confident about being in Cape Town? Do you see growth and opportunity?
It's such a difficult question because I would love to travel more and go live somewhere else for a little bit.
Okay.
I've got a little bit of a bee in my bonnet to maybe go and live in Bali for a couple of years.
Because you've been there and you've experienced
it. Bali. I love Bali so much. I've got a little bee in my bonnet. Okay. So we'll see what the future holds. I do believe, and I have to say that Kalk Bay itself is growing and growing and growing. And we have a wonderful business association and a wonderful woman who runs it. And in comparison, if I do drive around Cape Town and I do look at malls and, for example, the CBD and other places, we have really managed to maintain during COVID. And I think that Kalk Bay itself is such a destination and it's got such a wonderful energy. I mean, where else can you shop between a harbour, mountain, ocean, trains? It's so beautiful. And I think Kalk Bay has got a very bright future. If we can sort some things out in South Africa, there will be a bright future. There definitely will, but it remains to be seen.
Yes, it does. It does. So the whole socio-economic thing, we're not quite sure. I think everyone, so you have a daughter as well, and you feel she has a future in South Africa. She'll take over probably what you're doing. You see her because
she has mentioned that she's going to go and study fashion design. I mean, she's 13, so let's see what happens. She also wants to be a famous TikToker and a singer, and a dancer, and famous.
Age appropriate.
She wants to be all of that. So,
dream big.
Social media. Anyway, so we'll have to see. I think the foreseeable future for me is that I would like to go and live somewhere like Bali for a couple of years. Okay. And take her along and let her experience something else for a while. And then see what happens. I mean, we all are South African and we're on South African passports, so this is our home. Yep. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully everything will be wonderful.
Yes.
We'll have a bright future here.
There is definitely something about South Africans that just, you can't get that anywhere else. I mean, I love the world. I think it's a beautiful place, but there's just something about South Africa and Cape Town especially that it's hard to get away from. Yeah.
It is.
So
I've definitely just got a little adventurous bone in my body at the moment that wants to like get going somewhere and just ride a scooter for a couple of years, instead of a mommy's 4x4. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm turning 50. Maybe it's a like crisis thing.
It's the new 40. 50 is the new 40.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. All right. Well, Kim, it's always absolutely amazing chatting with you. I think you definitely spark a lot of. I also want to go out there and see everything and just keep going and trying and being as best we can. And
absolutely. And you know what I have realized in my life is that I gain so much inspiration from so many different spheres. I actually steal with my eyes all the time. And traveling is definitely one of the things that I think one needs to inspire you, to evolve, to change. And I think that's the thing I want to keep happening in my life, is I need to evolve and change. And then I can stay creative.
Because it's like, I was just going into your spaces. It's always like candy for my eyes. My eyes just don't know what to look at.
That's the whole idea.
You've always inspired me with your creativity and your displays and your style and everything.
Thank you.
Thank you
Well, I have
so
a lot of fun doing it. So.
Well, you can see it because everything that you do it has magic. It touches it. You can see it. Just oozes it with it.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
keep well and best
you.
of luck. And
Thank
may
you.
summer season in Kalk Bay be rocking. And
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It will. I'm going to put it out there. It's going to. For all of us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Catherine. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Bye.